The much anticipated May balance update is finally here, and it has made some pretty significant changes to a lot of the characters on the cast. Now this was quite a surprise to me because I didn't think this first update would target certain characters, but this is actually a massive W and the changes are pretty good. I'll talk a bit more about this later in the video, but for now I want to cover some of the biggest changes made to certain characters in the game, of course starting with all 4 of my mains. I won't talk about every single character, but I'll touch on some of the biggest changes made to some of the obnoxious characters in the game right now. Okay, so let's first talk about my boy Raven. So Raven has 2 major nerfs. His QCF 1+2 has now gone from +5 to +2. Now I did say if there are some things that are overpowered with Raven, it's either his QCF 1+2 or his outstanding 3+4. So his outstanding 3+4 has also been nerfed. It's now -12. It's basically been reverted to the way it was before, but I'll get into that later. So QCF 1+2 was a good move. It does have its weaknesses. It's very linear. It's mostly used at the war because it has war splat properties. So at the war leaves you at +5 and has war splat properties. So at the war is where it became super toxic, and it leaves him in full crouch as well. So I was starting 3+4 and the hell sweep, sorry, in the full crouch sweep, as well as the 50-50 mix-up. If you press buttons, he had outstanding 2 as a counter hit, of course, and he could track you. He basically locked you down, so it was a bit too overpowering. So -2 is a good change in my opinion, because you still do have a frame trap with outstanding 2. You just have to think more with of course, outstanding 3+4 not being tracking anymore. Now this is good. In the grand scheme of things, guys, it wasn't really that big of an issue because everyone else was super OP. But now that they're toning things down, this is a much needed change. +2 is fair in my opinion. I don't know how you other Raven mains feel. So now going to outstanding 3+4. Now this one hurts me quite a bit, but I do understand, and let me explain why. So I personally asked for this change. I wanted a safe mid for Raven from full crouch. I said you can either give him a new move from a full crouch, which is a safe mid that he can use as a full crouch mix-up for his full crouch hell sweep, or you have the choice to make outstanding 3+4 safe. Now I asked for this and I got it, and I have to say to some degree I was wrong. It was too strong. Now the problem isn't really the move itself. The problem is that the move is a hit engager as well. That's where the issue comes into play. It's a hit engager, so the risk and reward didn't really even things out. It was too oppressive, and given the fact that Raven now has better frames and more ways to go into full crouch, yeah, it felt a bit too oppressive. Now reverting it back to -12, I think it's too harsh. So Raven goes back to having the issue of not having a good mid out of full crouch to mix it up with the hell sweep or the full crouch sweep until you go into hit, which makes sense. But compared to characters like Shaheen, who has a full crouch down forward 2 mid as a mix-up for his sweep, and Low, who has up forward 3 as a mix-up for his slide, Shaheen slide as well, sorry, not a sweep. Why does Raven not have that? And he's supposed to be like a mix-up heavy character. So like this is why it hurts. I understand the nerf, but like it hurts because he needs something to complement his outstanding 3+4. You know, a safe mid outside of hit as a good mix-up to his full crouch mix-up. So I don't know how Raven is going to be. Like overall, he's still a better character, and if everyone keeps getting nerfed, he'll be strong. But like the full crouch game is still going to be very difficult with outstanding 3+4 nerf. You can still use it, you have to space it correctly, but I wish they made it -10 or -11 instead of -12 with like slightly more pushback depending on how you space it. So these are the 2 major nerfs Raven has, and overall he's still good. Next up is Leroy, and as expected, his sidestep 3+4 has been nerfed. So in terms of frame data, it goes from +5 to +3, which honestly I do agree as well. The move is still strong, you just don't get guaranteed Hermit back 1+2 as a frame trap anymore. You have to either use Hermit 4 or Hermit 2, which all have weaknesses. Like sidestep 3+4 into Hermit back 1+2 covered everything. They couldn't press buttons, they couldn't step. So it was, yeah, it was too oppressive. So now if you go Hermit sidestep, sorry, if you go sidestep 3+4 into Hermit, you have either Hermit 4, which is mid as a frame trap, but there is a mix-up behind this. Again, it's either he finishes the whole string, you throw out a parry afterwards. If you don't press anything afterwards, you're getting punished, right? So it's a punishable move that has mix-ups around it, the parry and everything. Or you can go for sidestep 3+4 into Hermit 2, but 2 is a high, it can be dark. So those are your two frame traps which you need to condition your opponent with. If they start respecting you, that's when you start going for like your lows and your mix-ups. Before that, you will just do SS 3+4 and then boom, you're free to do whatever you want, which was a bit too oppressive. And secondly, this was a change I asked for, SS 3+4 not hitting grounded. This was needed. This was like super busted, bro. It gave me hella drag QCF4 vibes before the nerfs. It was so freaking stupid. So much needed nerf. And is there anything else that Leroy needs in terms of nerfs? I would argue the scaling on his hit back 1+2, counter hit back 1+2 needs nerfs still. The damage he does from this is ridiculous. I do understand it's a hit move, you know, so hit moves obviously should be busted, but like this is like way too much. Basically it's unscaled. This should not be unscaled. Other than that, I think that's it with Leroy. Maybe his back 3 into Pimp Cane as well. One might argue it's too strong, but like back 3 is a high, it is slow, you can react to it to some degree, so you know, there is that. So I think SS 3+4 much needed nerfs in terms of balancing, and yeah, I do agree with the change as well. Lars, oh my days, these guys missed so hard on my boy. They did not touch Lars like at all. Like how Namco, how? It's insane. So Lars' biggest issue, okay, he has a lot of issues, but like one of the biggest complaints was his DE 3+4. Of course, even if you blocked DE 3+4, he still transitioned into SE and would still do a mix-up afterwards, even if you blocked the low. That hasn't changed, bro. It hasn't changed all that much. You only get a guaranteed 12 frame punish, which is not honestly that rewarding. This move should be -14 max, and when you block this low, Lars should not transition into SE. That is some bullshit, bro. Like it's actually baffling, bro, how this has survived. Like what? Excuse me. So yeah, -12 not worth it. People are saying it should be launch punishable. I do not agree. Lars should be safe in stance, but he's very risky in neutral. That's something people should remember. He's very risky. All his lows are launch punishable whilst in neutral, so he's meant to be strong in stance. So -14 would be fair in my opinion. They also nerfed down forward 3-3, so it now leaves you closer to the opponent, meaning they can launch you every single time with a 15 frame launcher. So before it had massive pushback and not everyone would punish it consistently. Now this is a good change. It's a good nerf because down forward 3-3 first of all is natural, and if Lars does down forward 3 into DE 1-2, that was all natural as well. So last player would mix that up with down forward 3-3, which was just stupid. So now that down forward 3-3 has been nerfed, you don't have as much flexibility in terms of mix-ups with down forward 3 as you would have had before. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. They haven't touched anything else. Lars' running 1 is still in the game. That move needs nerfs. It should not track whatsoever. Like, why is it homing, bro? It's a homing high that's +7. It should not be. Why should he have a homing running 1 high and a homing DE3 mid? Like, no. Like, I'm a Lars main, but like we asked for buff Lars, but like, bro, like no. So running 1 should be steppable, and it should not be +7 on block. You should not guess for your life. Imagine if Claudio's running 2 went into a stance and you had to guess afterwards. Like, that's just stupid. So that needs nerfs still. And they also haven't fixed Lars's wall combo down 3-1. This man still does Mishima damage, bro. He does so much fucking damage, it's stupid. So they have to nerf the scaling on down 3-1. They did talk about nerfing combo damage, which they've done with a lot of characters like Lily, but somehow Lars did not get the nerf on his down 3-1. So yeah, this was a huge miss by Bamco. And lastly, Lars should not regain hit just for transitioning in stance. Like this thing should just be a nerf all across the board for every character on the roster. It should not get hit back. That should not be a thing. So this was another huge miss for Bandai Namco. So these other nerfs that Lars needs, and when he gets these nerfs, I think he'll still be good. The biggest buff to Lars, in my opinion, is the addition to his down forward 1 strings. He can pressure you really good now with down forward 1. So even after all these nerfs, my boy should still be good. But as of now, yeah, Namco missed quite a few things, and he is still mad strong. Still top 5 in my opinion. Another massively needed change was Steve's Firefox Fury. This went from +11 +11 to +3, which honestly does not change much in terms of the usability of the move. You still have the frame trap of going into flicker stance, then going for flicker stance back 1, so flicker stance 1 into albatross 2. If they mash buttons, you get a frame trap, so that still works. This just makes it so that the opponent has more options for counterplay against this move, because bro, you were +11 after this move. +11, like what? Someone make it make sense. You are locked into flicker stance, I do understand, but +11, oh my days, that was just, it was obnoxious. So +3, everything still works, right? The frame traps, power crash, you can go throw as well, everything still works the same, but they just gave it so that opponents have more space to breathe and space to counterplay. Nothing else with Steve has changed. Got a slight buff on his 1-1-2, now +4 from 0, so you can do like classic 1-1-2 into back 1, so a decent buff. But overall, that's the only change Steve has received, so he is still super strong in this game. And remember, everyone else, not just Steve, everyone else is getting nerfed. So yeah, Steve Foxudu, our boy, still good in this game. Okay, my mains aside, I want to talk about some honorable mentions. So like I said, I won't cover every single character. I do suggest you watch I Am OP. I think he's the best content creator to watch in terms of character breakdowns. He does a perfect job of that. So stuff like Feng back 4 3+4, right? That has been nerfed whilst in hit, by the way, has been nerfed from +12 to +7. Right, that is a massive change. So now if you want +12, you have to go for his old regular version of 3+4, which has its weaknesses. It's very linear and it can be floated. So back 4 3+4 is only -7, which means it's not a guess anymore between back turn down 3 or back turn 2. You can actually dick jab, you can actually step now. So that is a massive change. Again, just reducing these ridiculous plus frames is what we wanted, and so far they're doing a great job of this. Another example, of course, is Leo. Of course, they fucked up Leo's back 1-4. You couldn't step the 4 anymore. It was a guaranteed mix-up every single time they landed at back 1-4. So like that was ridiculous, and this happened back in Tekken 7. I think Tekken 7 season 2, maybe early or late season 2, they made this change. So it's surprising to me that they went back to this, but again, they've made the revert. It's back to the way it was. We can step back 1-4. So this massively brings Leo down the tier list, and they're not as oppressive as they were before. Massive change. Another good change is to pause deep dive down forward. For his new hatchet kick from deep dive went from +6 to +3. Another good change. This is something I wanted, although deep dive 1 still being a homing natural launcher. Yeah, I don't know how this did not get touched either, just like Lars. So this one, Namco will have to go back to this move and change it probably in June, at least I hope, because we're now giving characters natural homing launchers from stance, like Nani. So deep dive down forward for another good nerf, as well as a nerf to Brian's back 1+2. went from +7 to I think +4, and they removed the crouching status. Now it leaves you standing, which is an amazing buff. You're not locked to crouching status. It has a decent amount of pushback right now. So these are all good changes. Of course, there are more characters like Lily, Alisa. All these characters were nerfed. Damage reductions, but I won't show all of these again. So in terms of the changes to other different characters, these were pretty good changes. Good work by the Namco team. Which brings me to my overall thoughts about the current balance patch. So if you guys remember, in almost all my videos, what I said was I'm gonna wait and see what the May update brings before deciding to jump back on the game. They've changed the balancing team, at least according to what Harada said on Twitter. We don't know whether that was just for public view or it's actually true. But from what I've seen so far, it might be the case, because this is another W update. The first one was good, the emergency patch. The increment of life was good. However, I think with the nerf to damage now, or they're nerfing damage, that might make the matches last a bit longer. The matches will be more drawn out, so they might have to nerf the health to maybe 15, right? So reduce it by 5 again after the nerfs to combo damage and, like, you know, the double tailspin launches and all that stuff. But like overall, the emergency patch as well as this patch together have been good, and I will stick to my word. I said if I liked the patch in May, because they haven't lied to us, right? They haven't pulled off the defense bullshit again where they lied to us. So that's good. They haven't lied. They've stuck to their word and they've made some changes, and we have another update in June. Keep that in mind. We have another update in June. So if we get nothing but nerfs again in June, the game might actually start to feel a bit better. So Evo Japan just ended, and what a lot of people are saying is the grand finals, which was Ni versus Mugold, actually felt like watching actual Tekken. So Ni sidestepped Mugold's back for 1+2, a move I just spoke about with Feng, and got like a Jet upper into a GG combo, right? So like that was like pure Tekken, actual counterplay. So people are excited, saying, man, it's actually a fun grand finals to watch. And I do agree. I said Tekken actually felt different after the health increase and the nerf to hit engager, right? We could actually play some neutral after hit was done because we had some life left, right? So that actually made a huge difference. However, I think pokes have suffered quite a bit because of the health increment. So for that case, health needs to be reduced by at least 5. So I like the changes. I like the direction where the game is going so far. And we have June update coming as well, which if they stick to the changes they've done like today in this update, we get even better changes. Like I said, there's more stuff busted, like Lars still up there. You know, there's still stuff that needs to be fixed. Zafina is still there with her back 1+2. There's still stuff that needs to be touched. So yeah, boys, I would jump back on the game. I would jump back on ranked and start my grind again. I'll stick to my word, and actually I'm a bit more excited now after seeing Namco sticking to their word on this balance update. So I will get back on ranked. As for which character I'll start the grind with, so like I said last time, I'm replacing Steve because I'm not having fun with Season 2 Steve. I'm not the fan of the stance transitions, although he is a better character, he is stronger, especially with Firefox Fury. I don't like what they've done with him, so I might be replacing Steve with Eddie this season. I don't know if Eddie will be the first character I grind to GOD, if I even get there this season, but I'll either start with Eddie if I do get him, or Lars. I spent last season playing super low tiers, right? Lars, Leroy, Steve, Raven were not in a very good state in season 1. Maybe for Steve towards the end of the season, but like overall these were like mid to low tier characters. But now they're all good, especially Lars. Lars is like top 10, so I might start off with Lars because I want to play a strong character now to actual ranked. But I know myself, I might end up playing Eddie or just playing Raven all over again and Leroy, but I'll try to play every single character. And you tell me if you guys be interested to seeing my ranked gameplay. My gameplay doesn't really do well in terms of YouTube numbers and algorithms and all that jazz, so if you want to see me grind ranked and all that gameplay uploaded, you let me know. So let me hear your thoughts, my boys. How are you feeling about this update? Is it too small? Did you expect more? And has the team stuck to their word, in your opinion? Talk to ya boy. We still have another update in June. I believe June 3rd. We're expecting more changes, which I'm excited about. And it might be too early to say, boys, but things are looking good. This new team seems to know what they're doing, and hopefully they keep up this good work. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As usual, if you're new, please do consider subscribing. I cover a bunch of Tekken content and other RPG games as well. And as usual, don't forget to doria that like button and subscribe if you're new. So GG boys, and take care.